So guys, welcome back to yet another video. In this one today, we're going to be trying out the 88 rated centre-back, Ronald Koeman. Now, this card looks pretty interesting because although he is a centre-back, judging by his stats, you could play him in a bunch of different roles. And we're actually going to do that in this review today. I'm not just going to try him out as a centre-back, we're also going to use him as a CDM, just to see how he does in that role. Because I feel like a lot of people will use him in different positions. Anyway, before we get into this review, if you could leave a like rating on the video, that would be awesome. In the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts on this item. Are you planning on getting it from icon swaps? Let me know all that good stuff. And also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe because we upload a lot and we upload a lot of stuff like this on a regular basis. Anyway, this is the team we're going to be using him in, and we're going to start him as a centre-back in the first half of games, and then in the second half of games, he's going to play in a CDM role, and Scream PK will come off the bench and drop into that CB role. I'll probably put Koeman in midfield, and he will probably replace Guardiola when we use him in the second half. So anyway, let's have a look at this item, shall we? He's 5'11", which in like previous FIFAs could have been a problem for a centre-back with like aerial abilities and stuff, but to be honest, no one really crosses in FIFA 20 much, and heading's pretty garbage, so his height as a centre-back really isn't an issue. He does have high medium work rates though, which obviously isn't ideal for a centre-back, and that could contribute to him coming out of position a bit, in theory, anyway. So these are his in-game stats. He's got really good pace for a defender, which is good to see. And obviously, if that was a worry for you, you could apply a pace-heavy chem style, something like Shadow, if you wished. He's got some pretty insane shooting stats. Considering he's a centre-back, these shooting stats are ridiculous. The guy's got 97 shot power, 92 long shots, 95 penalties, and 81 volleys. Those are some ridiculous numbers. He's also got 80 finishing, which is actually better than some strikers in Ultimate Team. Obviously not the top tier ones, but it's better than some strikers and also some attacking midfielders. So if we get a chance to shoot with this guy, we're going to take it because this guy is clearly meant to be capable. He's also got 85 composure, so when it comes to shooting, the guy should actually be quite composed. And if you put like a shooting heavy chem style on this guy, he'd have like 90 plus finishing, which is just insane for a defender. His passing attributes are also ridiculously impressive. He's got an 85 short passing rating, 95 long passing, 92 curve, and 85 crossing. So this guy should in theory be able to distribute very well out the back. The dribbling stats aren't anything too special as opposed to the agility and balance, although 70 agility definitely isn't a bad stat for a centre-back, but when we're using him in midfield, obviously that won't be too ideal. He does have pretty good reactions though of 89 and a decent ball control of 84. Defensively, the good stats continue. 89 interceptions is awesome, 89 stand tackle is great, and so is the 87 slide tackle. His defensive awareness isn't anything spectacular, but it's still pretty good at 84. Finally, that physical section shows that this guy's got pretty good jumping of 86, good stamina of 82, decent strength of 83, and pretty high aggression of 85. Overall, the stats for this card look pretty amazing. Like, seriously, they're very freaking impressive, so definitely interested to see how we get on with this item in game. Like I've already said a few times, we're going to try him as a centre-back and as a CDM. Hopefully he does well in both roles. So yeah, I think we've rambled on for long enough. Let's get into some games. Let's see what this guy's made of. So for Koeman's debut, we come up against this. He's got a very good backline, which features team of the group stage Sergio Ramos, Longley and ter Stegen, and his attack is also really impressive. He's got an icon right and an Mbappe. And Sissoko's coming forward, but Koeman comes out and eventually we get away with it. Nice interception there by Koeman. Ball goes out for a throw, but gets the job done. Oh, Koeman, nice position in there, and a good clearance. Oh, clear it, clear it. Chance to my opponent, Di Maria, on the outside, but Koeman gets to him quickly. Okay, the halftime whistle has gone, and we have a 1-0 lead at the break, despite being under a lot of pressure for the majority of that first half. Like I said at the start, we're going to be making some interesting changes at the break, and we're going to be putting Koeman into midfield. Guardiola, unfortunately, is going to make way, and PK is going to come on at centre-back. Koeman instantly making an impression, blocking that pass to Griezmann there. Here he comes, the Dutch midfielder. Nice pass out wide there to Trossard, but unfortunately the return from Trossard wasn't ideal. Koeman, who's going to hoist the ball up to Trossard. It's a nice pass too. Right, ball's coming into the box. It's Koeman with the header, but unfortunately goes over the bar. Nice tackle there. Can he? Oh, he's won it too. Good play. Feeds the ball through for Aubameyang. Can he get his foot to this? Not quite. And there's the full-time whistle. We get a 1-0 win, and wow, that game was super tight. Man of the match in that game actually went to Koeman, and yeah, I actually thought he was brilliant in that game. Like in the centre-back role and in the DM role, he was very good. Made plenty of tackles, went on a few runs, and his passing wasn't too bad either. We actually did get that one shot with him. It was that header, but unfortunately wasn't on target. But a pretty good debut for the Dutch defender. Our next opposition is this. It's a pretty odd setup, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of custom tactics involved in this match. But nonetheless, his team just looks really strange. Oh, that's poor from me, but luckily Koeman's there to help out. One thing I'm really liking about Koeman is just how assured he is with his passing out the back. Like, obviously there are some defenders that have got pretty good passing in this game, but this guy's passing for a centre-back is just unreal. Oh, well in Koeman. Good interception. Oh, Rashford's got a good turn of pace. Koeman's trying to keep up with him and eventually muscles him off the ball. Chance. Oh, Benzema's got around Koeman there. Didn't look too quick, but he's got back at him. And that was poor from Benzema there, and my opponent. He didn't really take full advantage of that break. Jeez, okay. It's half-time. We have a 1-0 lead somehow. I will not lie. We've been absolutely dominated for the first 45. Like, we've been defending for our lives. That's why we've got so many tackles. Yeah, it's a tough game. I'm struggling, to be honest. The guy is just constant pressure, and yeah, we just got to stay solid defensively. Usual changes. Guardiola's coming off, Piqué's coming on, and Koeman's going into midfield. What a block from Piqué. So there's a corner. We're going to go short with it. Koeman's going to get the header here, but unfortunately Alisson's waiting for it. Koeman to bring us forward. Oh, loses out to Wijnaldum, but luckily stays on his feet and eventually gets the ball to Trossard, but it's intercepted. Koeman. Oh, he's done well to get that pass away under pressure there. Linking up well now. His passing is so good. Aubameyang finds Koeman. He's going to slide the ball through for Zaha. He's found him in space. We're going to go for the chip, but Alisson's out quick. Koeman clears it. Now do we have one last chance for an attack in this game? We might do. And we're going to link up and we're going to put this game to bed. Wow. 3-0 scoreline. I'm not just saying this. That does not do my opponent justice at all. This is not a 3-0 game. I'm not just saying this. I genuinely think defensively that's one of my best performances I've put in FIFA 20. You can tell how much I was defending by the ratings for both my CDMs and my centre-backs, all of them being pretty high. Also, my goalkeeper's got a good rating too. Do you remember how I said it shouldn't have been a 3-0 game? Yeah, look, the goalkeeper was super busy. 10 saves from him. Koeman was outstanding in that game, really good in the centre-back role and in that DM position, making plenty of tackles and intercepts, which was great. And I also thought his passing was top class in that game too. So after a few more games with the Dutch defender in my team, what are my thoughts on his performances? Very good, really good card, to be honest. I was quite surprised. I was expecting it obviously to be at a decent level, but he was even better than I thought he would be, if I'm being fully honest. And that's both in the centre-back role and in the CDM role. I actually thought he was better in the DM role than the centre-back one, but we'll discuss that more in a moment. Let's first break down this guy's stats. So, pace. Quick enough. Like, obviously he's not super rapid, and I put Anchor Chem on him, but he's definitely quick enough to catch up to most players, which is good. You saw in some of the clips that Rashford got a yard on him, but he still caught up to him. That's the kind of level we're dealing with here. And obviously, like I've already said, if you're worried about his pace, put a Shadow Chem on him or something like that. But I thought his pace was good enough and he recovered well from some situations, which was nice. Shooting. Honestly, didn't get a chance to shoot with him too much. I only had like a couple of shots, but his shots are very powerful and from distance, he can certainly be a threat. Like I say, I was using him as a centre-back and as a CDM, so shooting opportunities weren't particularly coming around too often, but I tried to make the most of them when I can. The guy definitely could shoot from distance if the opportunity does arise for you, and he's also a pretty good set-piece taker too, so another reason to potentially have him in your team. Obviously, this guy is known for his free kicks as well. Moving on to his passing, which I thought was absolutely outstanding, to be honest. I thought his distribution was great. Short passing, top class. Long passing, also absolutely brilliant. His through balls and just general ability to just distribute long was great, and when in a centre-back role, that can be key, and also when in a defensive mid role, that can be key too. So very, very happy with his passing. Only off his right foot though. His left foot, he's got a freestyle weak foot, and his left foot's crap, but his right foot, brilliant for distribution. His dribbling was alright. It's not fantastic as you would expect. I wouldn't bag him too much for his dribbling overall if I was just reviewing him as a centre-back, but since I used him in midfield as well, I have to mention that his agility obviously doesn't feel that great, but he's not terrible on the ball, which is nice. And what I will say is his dribbling's good enough for a DM at this stage of the game. He's obviously not like super quick on the 10, but he's also not too sluggish either. Thought his dribbling was alright, and also he's got good composure, so he's quite composed in possession. So as long as you as the player don't panic too much when trying to clear the ball with this guy, you shouldn't have too many issues with clearances. Defensively, the guy is pretty solid, to be honest. Made plenty of interceptions for me, and his stand tackling I thought was to a very, very high standard. Finally, how was this guy physically? Well, he didn't tire too much for me, even when I used him in this CDM role. But if you start him as a DM and you play him for a full 90 minutes, you might want to bring on another defensive mid, because obviously his stamina is good, but it's not amazing. I thought his strength in game was very good, and that was definitely aided by his high aggression, because he battled for the ball a lot. One thing I haven't yet mentioned is his positioning, because I wanted to talk about that last. He's got a 75 attack positioning stat, and he's also got high medium work rates. And yes, occasionally he does come out of line when playing in that centre-back role and as a DM. The guy does like to get forward occasionally, but it wasn't like super often, and it wasn't a big problem for me personally. He's definitely the first player to come out of line when you're defending, but he wasn't shooting out of line in like a ridiculous manner, so I was pretty pleased with his positioning overall. But you have got to be aware that occasionally he will be just a bit out of line due to that attack positioning and work rate. But overall, I thought this card was pretty brilliant, to be honest, and I thought he was class in that DM role, and he played the centre-back role quite well as well. So with all that in mind, do I think this card is worth getting? Well, considering he only costs 10 Icon Swap 2 tokens, I think it's good value at that price, to be honest. And you don't just get a good defender if you get this Koeman, you also get a pretty good utility player that you can play as a centre-back, as a CDM, or even as a centre-mid if need be. And you also get a set-piece taker with him as well, which is a bonus. So yeah, I've got quite a good opinion of this card, and it's definitely one that I'll be considering when I eventually start collecting my Icon Swap tokens. Anyway guys, we're coming towards the end of the video now. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please do leave a like rating on it. If you've got any questions about the card, you know what to do. Pop them in that comment section too. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.